大家好，歡迎收睇耳機狂人，我係卡圖。對於我自己同埋唔少發燒友嚟講，今年德國品牌 Violectric 回歸香港市場，可以話係最開心嘅消息之一。好似 Niimbus US 5 Pro、DHA V590 Mark II、DHA V226 都有唔同嘅驚喜。大家又有冇興趣知道品牌設計調聲嘅概念係點呢？近幾年外國品牌都少咗嚟香港，不過我哋仲有機會同品牌做訪問。透過代理嘅安排，好榮幸今次可以同 Violectric 嘅負責人 Mr. Fried Reim 做個視像訪問，然後透過呢條片整理翻俾大家睇。如果你第一次睇我嘅影片，呢個 channel 主要係介紹個人音響產品，逢星期三同埋星期六都會有直播，講產品之餘，亦會同大家傾下偈，記得留意啦。唔講咁多，去片。早排我就透過 Facebook 狂人同學會同 YouTube 社群收集咗唔少網友嘅問題，我哋就翻譯咗做英文之後再問佢。不過喺呢條影片入面，每條問題我都會同大家講返中文版本。喺正式開始之前，我哋不如睇睇 Fried 嘅自我介紹先。
Hello everybody, my name is Fried Reim. I'm the founder and still part of Lake People Company in Constance. I founded the Lake People Company in Constance in 1986, and in the beginning it was a company making items for professionals, for studios, for musicians. And in 2008, we founded the brand Violectric, which was more intended for audio enthusiasts, especially those who love to hear their music with headphones. In the past 2 years, we had a very, very successful way behind us, and now being a quite reputed brand among the other audiophile companies.
開始嘅題目都係熱身，同大家一齊了解一下品牌。首先就係嚟自 Thomas 嘅問題，官方係咪認同坊間對於 Violectric 同 Lake People 一個係 For Audiophiles， 一個係 For Professionals 嘅定位
？Yes, I think this is true. Some circumstances. In 1986, we began with Lake People, and our focus at that time was the professional market, the studios, the musical scene, big venues, theaters, airports, and stuff. Since 2008, 2009, people always told us, because some of our, especially the headphone amplifiers, always also came into the hands of some audiophiles, and they told us, well, sounds nice, looking like a fridge. And we thought we could do something against the fridge look, and so we started with Violectric because nice cases are not the focus of professionals, and but it's also the focus of audiophiles. They don't want to listen only to nice sounding amplifiers, but also to nice looking amplifiers. This is still true, because when you're looking at the range of amplifiers under the Lake People range, this is more tools, and Violectric line, I think also we have a little bit better sounding amplifiers, but also the make is much better.
繼續 Thomas 嘅問題，佢就想知道阿 Fried 覺得現今世代聆聽器材仲有冇分 For Audiophiles 同 For 工作嘅需要？
Well, concerning Lake People and Violectric, there is still a difference in the devices. This is the efforts we are making in designing the amplifiers. Under the Lake People line, we have good sounding amplifiers, but these may suffer under specific circumstances, like demanding headphones, low impedance headphones, or low efficiency headphones. And generally, you can say that the Violectric line offers more powerful amplifiers, which are also good for demanding headphones like let's say HiFiMan HE6 or the Sennheiser HD800. The HiFiMan is more demanding aspect of power, and the Sennheiser HD800 more under the aspect of the voltage swing. And this you can both do better with Violectric amps than with Lake People amps, because Lake People amps are still more a tool.
嚟到 Brian 嘅問題，關於產品開發，佢就想知道 Violectric 喺開發嘅時候係用咩耳機或者耳牛嚟到做 reference。
IEMs, none in the moment, because IEMs are a quite special thing, and they are very, very up to the personal taste. And often they are made for your ears, and so it's hard to have really good IEMs to check, to test. But we rely on the judgments of our customers who often use IEMs. What they're telling us, especially that our amps are extremely low noise, and so even with this very sensitive IEMs, you have a black background. Concerning headphones, in the old days, we had the AKG. Well, there was a very popular model 30 years ago. This was AKG 240. It could be found in nearly any studio. By now, we've got the Odyssey headphones, the HiFiMan headphones, Metze, Sennheiser, of course, Biodynamic. And concerning the speakers, because many of our amplifiers have what we are calling a preamp section inside. We have a choice of active and passive speakers. The passive speakers is Canton. I don't know if you know that brand. It's a quite popular brand in Germany. We also have, of course, the PMC speakers, two pair of ELAC active speakers, and from PMC we've got the active and the passive speakers.
But for the biodynamic headphones, you suggest high impedance like 600 or 250?
For the biodynamic, we have the 600 ohm to see if we can still drive high impedance speakers to very high volumes. And we can, because we still have, in the past, looking at our most powerful amplifier for high impedance speakers, this was the V281, which was offering at about 40 volt effective for high impedance speakers. And the trade-off was that we also want to drive low impedance speakers. Optimizing an amplifier for, let's say, a high output voltage swing on one hand and low impedance headphones on the other hand would mean that for the low impedance speakers, the heat dissipation was quite high. And so our new amplifier design offers only plus minus as a balanced DC voltage of 25 volts internally. In the past, it was plus minus 30 volt internally. So from these 30 volt, you could achieve a 40 volt effective output voltage swing, and now it's only at about 25 volt, but it's still much more than enough for high impedance headphones. I also think that the high impedance biodynamics are sounding a little bit better. I think the control is better for the high impedance speakers comparing them with a 250 ohm speaker headphones.
去到產品方面 ，Violectric 而家基本上都係用內部電源處理。Christoph 就問到會唔會有產品採用 DC 電源，令人可以配搭 LPS 或者其他電源產品？
Definitely no. because our amplifiers, as mentioned earlier, are working with very, very high internal voltage from plus minus 25 volt by now. And this can't be done with a DC supply, an external DC supply. Or you have a DC supply and switch mode converters inside. And we don't want to have switch mode converters for our linear gear like headphone amplifiers. They all offer the traditional way, let's say the traditional way, like a toroidal transformer and a rectifier and lots of smoothing capacitors. And you can switch them from 230 to 115 volt internally.
之後呢一條我自己試機嘅時候都提出過，而今次就到阿 King 問到點解 Violectric 嘅產品一貫都係將 gain setting 擺喺後面，有冇咩原因？有冇考慮過喺前面板設計 gain setting 方便用家去 setting？
First of all, I think it's a nice feature from us to have a gain setting. With our new developments, we even widened the gain settings. Former times it had been plus minus 12 dB, and now it's plus minus 18 dB. And the gain setting itself is very sensitive. And having the setting on the front panel would mean, because the gain setting is directly after the input stages, would mean, well, on one hand, long cables or lots of relays to switch them, and long cables are not good for the sound. For relays, we need lots of space, and of course, planning all the relays inside would be quite expensive. But it may be that a future premium development like Niimbus could have the gain setting on the front with all the intermediate steps, meaning we could have a gain setting from minus 18 to plus 24 like we have now in the Niimbus, and we can put it on the front because we've got the space inside the amplifiers. In some other amplifiers, it's quite narrow inside. And on one hand, for the Niimbus amps, we have the space inside, and well, also the prices are quite high, so we could make it that way. Sometimes it's on the bottom. For Lake People amplifiers, it's inside, and for the Violectric amplifiers, we've got it on the back panel. And just another reason: normal people. Not you and me, they normally have one or two headphones and they make their setting one time and leave it that way for, well, the rest of the amplifier life. But, well, people like you and me were always busy and, well, hearing headphones, comparing them. And then it's indeed a little bit, well, it's not so nice to go on the back of the amp, and especially if it's dark behind the amp, and to put the switches. That's right. But for the normal customer, well, he's doing the setup once a time. He's connecting his headphone according to our manual, adjusting the volume for normal hearing. The volume should be adjusted to 12 o'clock. And afterwards, he's fine with this adjustment because I don't think that, well, only aficionados have more than, well, let's say 4 or 5 headphones or so.
接住就到 Ono 嘅問題，佢就提到耳機同喇叭唔同，各個產品之間阻抗同靈敏度嘅範圍更大，耳抗點樣提供最好嘅控制能力？同埋佢都想問阿 Fried 自己認為各種放大器嘅種類，好似 Class A、Class AB、Class D 等等，邊個有最好嘅表現？
Concerning the wide impedances of headphones, I think a Class D amplifier is not a good choice because the Class D amplifier is best when he knows the impedance from the load. So what's left is Class A and Class AB. Well, Class A is, of course, always the best amplifiers concerning the distortion. On the other hand, well, when you have an amplifier with an output power like 3, 5, 7 watt, like what we have in Class A, this would mean for both channels or 4 channels in a headphone, in a balanced headphone amplifier, that you would have to dissipate, well, at about 50 watts or even more. This is the heat dissipation, and this is not a nice thing, because it's stressing the electronics. And well, maybe in winter you could use it as a radiator, but in summer you need some more air condition for devices like that. And on the other hand, when you have as low distortions as we have, there's no need for more Class A. Class AB, well, Class A at our amps is up to, I think, 30, 40 milliwatts, and afterwards we're switching over to Class AB. And but we still achieve very, very low distortion figure. We also don't want to reduce the distortion anymore, because the distortion is what makes the sound of the amplifier. We're shaping our distortion figures so that K2 is higher than K3 is higher, K4 is higher than K5. So this is not usual for solid-state amplifiers. A solid-state amplifier normally has low K2 but higher K3 and so on. So the intermodulation is higher. And on our amplifiers, we try to reduce the distortion even more, but the product or the amplifier becomes lifeless afterwards. This is also my concern about these THX AAA amplifiers. They've got fantastic distortion figures on one hand, but on the other hand, the sound is a little bit lifeless. And this is not the way we want to go. So finally, we have Class AB amplifiers with quite low distortion, with a nice shape of distortion, and this distortion should remain.
嚟到我自己嘅問題，近年嘅耳擴產品都開始加入 4.4mm 輸出，仲有存在咗一段日子嘅4片 XLR， 平衡嘅選擇多咗。站喺廠方角度，產品調聲方面係基於平衡定係單端呢？有人認為有機會偏向一邊，如果唔係 Violectric 會點樣去平衡呢兩邊呢？
I think it's not the question of sound tuning, because when a manufacturer, not only us, but also other manufacturers, when they are doing balanced amps, they are duplicating the stereo amplifier. When they're doing really balanced amps, not only installing a balanced output like 4-pin XLR or the 4.4 millimeters Pentacon, when the goal is to have a really balanced amplifier, they are doubling the number of amplifiers inside, and these amplifiers are the same from their setup, the same as the stereo amplifier before. So they don't only have amplifier for left and right inside, but also for the left and right in phase and out of phase amps. Well, the difference is you're also doubling the output voltage swing, and the power is fourfold on true balanced amplifiers, and the output is doubled, the output voltage is doubled. So when you compare your amplifier with a headphone, the same headphones, one headphone's connected with single-ended phone jacks, and the other headphone, the same headphone, but connected with 4-pin XLR or with a Pentacon, the sound is on one hand different because the balanced headphone is louder, and so louder is always better. But on the other hand, the profit is you have less intermodulation and crosstalk when with a true balanced amplifier. This is what the secret about it. I don't know if you know. I made a little booklet. This is called the Headphone Amplifier Cookbook. The cookbook, yeah. Yes, and there I'm explaining. Maybe you can link it. There I'm explaining what's special about a true balanced amplifier and why the results in sound are so different. A popular comparison, meaning when you're listening with speakers, you are part of the audience in a concert hall. When you're listening to single-ended headphones, you take the part of the conductor. And when you're listening with really balanced headphones, you're inside the orchestra. And there is definitely no sound difference between a 4-pin XLR and the Pentacon connector. The difficulty about the Pentacon connector is that you're making lots of short circuits when plugging in. When you have, let's say a V550 at hand or a V590, you can take off the lid of the amplifier and just plug in the Pentacon connector, and we have a current limitation inside our amplifiers. And when you're plugging the plug in, you can see for the different stages of the amplifiers how the current limitation works, because it's displayed by a red LED. And there's lots of red LEDs when you're plugging in, and it doesn't matter on our amplifiers because they can stand it, but on other amplifiers it could be dangerous. And with the 4-pin XLR, you don't do any short circuits. All the pins are separated. We will make more and more products with 4.4 Pentacon connectors. We began with a V550 and with a Niimbus, and I think next series V550 is also with Pentacon. The V226 is with Pentacon, and the V222 will be with Pentacon, and also the V202, although it's only an unbalanced, a single-ended amp. We will also have, as a convenience method, as a convenience connector, we will have the Pentacon connector inside.
嚟到將來發展方向 ，Timothy 就想知道 Violectric 會唔會推出後級擴音機，因為佢自己覺得 Violectric 嘅前級好好，想一套過咁夾喇叭嚟聽。
This is a very good question. I know that our preamplifiers offer a very good sound, and we are busy in developing, even more preamplifier with more functions, but this is kind of secret in the moment. Of course, we have some schematics in our drawers for power amplifiers, and this is a product my engineers and me we want to do since I think 25 years or so. And we have some nice prototypes which are running very good and offer a very good sound, but we are so busy in developing our headphone amplifiers, and by now we don't have any standalone DA converters and AD converters, and also our resampling units have been very well accepted by our customers. And when we have some more time, I think we will also release a power amplifier, but I don't think in the next 2 or 3 years.
仍然係 Timothy 嘅問題，佢就想知道阿 Fried 對 MQA 嘅睇法，會唔會有機會喺解碼加入 MQA 嘅對應？
Well, MQA seems to be on one hand a quite nice format, which has found a quite good acceptance and a quite good reputation on one hand. On the other hand, I don't think that it will be a market leader in the future, because it's still very special, and there are also some concerns about what they're doing with the sound. I think we will also have to take a look at MQA in the future, and concerning new developments, well, especially DA converters or portable devices, we are thinking about implementing MQA also.
跟住就到 Manwu 嘅問題，我都好想知，佢就問到品牌可唔可以出手提純耳擴？
We have a nice little product called Kronos. This is a portable amplifier with a very high quality, I think. This was a product which is also selling very good. And of course, we have plans to enhance a little bit the power of a product like this. And there are plans to release, let's say, a bigger Kronos with a true balanced amplifier inside, and with at least 250 milliwatt output power per channel. Format shall be the same, meaning it shall not be a mobile player with a display and some space for files and so, because everything is in the smartphone today. But what you really need is a powerful amplifier to drive some more demanding headphones. And this is the way we like to go. With a 4.4 millimeters connector. Maybe in the future, by now we want to enhance the power of the Kronos. I think this is just a step beyond, and because our plans to have a more powerful DAC and amplifier is also powered by the battery of the cell phone, of the smartphone. And other things, even more powerful amplifiers, should be powered by an internal battery. This will rise the size, and I think the smart size of the Kronos, or even having a little bit more size of a more powerful amplifier, but not the size of a Mojo or another DAC amp with a built-in battery, because I think the built-in battery is the problem. I want to have, when we would release a product like this, the battery should at least last for 12 hours. And so I think 2/3 of the size is battery and 1/3 is the electronics.
有一條阿 King 嘅問題就俾佢安排咗喺呢一段，佢就問到之前 V281 都唔錯，呢個 size 嘅細機會唔會再有後繼機呢？
Well, I don't think that the V281 was really a compact amplifier. It was quite deep at about 30 centimeters and had a very, very huge front panel. I think a compact amplifier was the V280, yes, because this was also quite deep, but the shape of the front panel was quite compact. Well, by now we have the V226 as a compact, really balanced amplifier, and we want to release, and we showed the first prototypes during the high-end show in Munich. We want to release an amplifier called 202, which is the successor of the V200. Yes, what the functionality is nearly the same. It's got balanced and unbalanced inputs, and of course a built-in power supply. But it's got a case a little bit higher than the former V200, because we wanted to install a bigger knob. And the knob diameter from the V200, also from the V280, was 25 millimeters. And we now have, I think it's a centimeter more height, and the prototypes had 38 millimeter knobs. And so this is a nice look and feel. And we want to also have the successor of the V280, also very compact size, and this is the V222. And this will be the successor. We showed it also on the high-end show. I think you should have some more information about the amplifiers. And we want to release these amplifiers as the successors of the V200 and the successor of Well, the V280, not the V281. Well, I think in September we could succeed to do so. The successor of the V281 is still present. It's our, well, it's not compact. You are right. It's not compact. It's the V3XX and the V5XX series, which offer a little bit more functionality and also, as let's say, an adult DA converter, because the DA converter inside the V281 didn't match the quality of the V281. But looking at the 380 or the V590, the DA converters inside are very, very good amplifiers, DA converters. And of course, well, at the expense of some preamp functionality, which was also part of the V281, the 222 offers 2 switchable inputs, but no line outputs, but at a very compact size, a balanced amplifier, a really balanced amplifier with 4 amplifiers inside. I'm telling you this because of these true balanced amplifiers, because they're coming more and more amplifiers in the market, which offer balanced headphone connectors, but they are no real balanced amplifiers because they are still stereo amplifiers.
問題就問到呢度，相信大家都會好滿足。如果有興趣，就記得落鋪頭試睇下 Violectric 嘅產品啦。今日就講到嚟呢度。如果中意呢條片，除咗訂閱，仲要記得 comment、like、share。想討論可以加入 Facebook 嘅狂人同學會。我哋下次再見，拜拜。